I'm Sam Johnson with Wild Bearings. As I know you're aware, Hurricane Helene carved a 600-mile path of destruction and death all the way from Florida's Gulf Coast to Tennessee. And one of the hardest hit areas was western North Carolina, a prime fly fishing, outdoor rec, and tourism venue. Cleanup and rebuilding is going to take years, if not decades. Unfortunately, there could be a second disaster coming, an economic disaster caused by a lack of visitors in the region. This disaster stems from the public's impression that all of western North Carolina has been laid waste to, and this is simply not the case. This false impression stems largely from social media and 24-hour news channels who in many cases have either over or underreported or sensationalized situations, creating the impression that western North Carolina should be avoided. Some areas have had a huge amount of destruction and death, and I'm not playing that down whatsoever, but most of western North Carolina's landmass was essentially undamaged. Wild Bearings reached out to 15 outfitters in Helene's path to get a boots-on-the-ground scoop on what they're seeing. First, we interviewed Kevin Howell, owner of Davidson River Outfitters in Pisgah Forest, directly in the path of the storm. Here's what he had to say.
Thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us. Is Davidson River Outfitters open for business right now?
Yes, we're open. We actually, as the roads got safe enough to put children back to school this week, we opened up and started doing a few guided trips here at the shop. Our private water is open. We've cleared the debris and the trees from that. Davidson River up in the National Forest is still closed because the forest is closed. But we're expecting Forest Service is telling me in the next 10, 12 days that they're going to start opening up sections like the Davidson corridor here, maybe the North Mills corridor. Some of those will begin to open up. Nantahala has already opened back up to guiding and all that stuff, so we're able to guide on Whitewater and Thompson and those areas around us that are in Nantahala. So we're back open and trying to get life back to normal.
Are you doing any float trips now, or is everything waiting?
We're waiting at the moment. We have canceled our bass floats for the rest of the year because we're not sure what the French Ball Dump there is going to look like. It's going to take us all winter to probably even just get boat ramps back where we can get in and out and that kind of stuff. We will do float trips on the Tuckasegee once they stop the delayed harvest, although we haven't been told by wildlife exactly when that's going to be yet. We are anticipating in my conversations with them that delayed harvest will open on some rivers and will not open on others.
How'd the fish hatchery fare?
The Sensor Fish Hatchery fared very well. They lost a few fish down the river. They're saying less than like 5,000 pounds or something like that. Unfortunately, the Armstrong Fish Hatchery in Marion was destroyed.
How about the city of Brevard itself and Pisgah Forest? For people who are planning a trip or they've had a trip planned to come up there, whether it be fishing or just hanging out, going to the brewery and looking at leaves, is that still something they can do?
Absolutely. Brevard is getting back open. Kids are back in school. All the businesses are back open. I know Bryson City, Cashers, those areas south and west of us are open as well. We had impacts here. You're going to drive on some roads. They're going to have some gravel spots on them. You're going to run into crews that are repairing roads, but we are back open. The edges of the Nantahala National Forest next to us, Whitewater, Thompson, all that's open.
As a professional, what's your take on kind of the outlook of the future of fly fishing there in western North Carolina?
The fisheries south, actual south and west are going to recover by the spring. Everything's going to be back to normal. I am fairly optimistic that within the next 2 or 3 years we'll be back to the really nice trout fishing that we had pre-Hurricane Helene. It is cyclical and it will recover. It just got to give it a year or so.
A lot of these streams we're just going to have to relearn.
You have to fish the entire stream and move around more than you used to, but like you said, hey, it's kind of like going on a new fishing trip, right? You're going to learn something new.
Any other insight or advice you want to give to either anglers or just visitors to the area?
The biggest advice I can give is plan your route up here. If you're coming from the north, some of those roads are going to be closed or rerouted. Verify your accommodations. Try and help the communities when you're there. Eat locally, shop locally.
I hear encouragement in your voice. I feel better. We'll look forward, hopefully, to seeing you soon up there.
Of the other 14 outfitters we contacted, Here's some of their comments. Eugene at Fly Fishing the Smokies in Bryson City said, nearly all of the trout waters on our target board are fishing good to excellent. Access is good. The Tuckasegee is slow right now because of no stocking yet, but that comes later. Daniel at Little River Outfitters in Townsend, Tennessee, our waters are great. This end of the Smokies were spared. Water levels are good and temperatures are cool. Stocking starts soon in the waters of Townsend, and Gatlinburg is already stocking. Bobby at Tuskegee Fly Shop in Silva said, we were spared the damage other areas had. Waynesville West all the way to Murphy is in great shape. We're running trips from all 3 locations in western North Carolina, and trout fishing is great. Matt at Brookings in Cashiers said, our area is pretty much unharmed. We're guiding and operating at full capacity, and the fishing has been pretty darn good. Delayed harvest season starts soon at the end of October. Miller at Hunter Banks in Asheville said, hey, all is good at Hunter Banks, especially to the west and the Smokies. We're booking trips. Josh at Curtis Wright in Weaverville said, we'll start guiding again on October 21st. Our float options are currently limited, but we do have wade trip options. Kyle at Southern Drifters Outfitters in Burnsville said, our rivers were really impacted, but we do have some fishable water. However, we're not currently booking wade trips. In fact, we'd discourage people from coming to fish up here. Some areas are not safe and slides are still happening. Alex at Fosco Fishing in Fosco said, we're getting back in the swing of things this week and float trips and wade trips are on the schedule. The wild fishing has been great. Most businesses in our area are back up and running. So there you have it. With rare exception, outfitters are reporting great fly fishing in western North Carolina. Realize the destruction of habitat is a natural process. Streams and rivers will heal themselves, and fish do survive. As destructive as Helene was, the false impression that western North Carolina has largely been destroyed could lead to a second disaster, economic in nature. We just can't let that happen. So here's what you can do to help. If you have a date booked with an outfitter, keep it. They'll put you on fish. Secondly, buy a gift certificate for a future guided trip. And lastly, shop outfitters for birthdays and Christmas. From all of us at Wild Bearings, please help by volunteering and donating to the affected communities and by supporting our outfitter friends. And remember, trout still don't live in ugly places. And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram for more of Chris and my outdoor escapades.